What's up, everybody? It's the Red Line Radio. We're here to talk about One Piece Chapter 1152. We're talking about Loki. We're talking about Harold. We're talking about new
hmm
crewmates. Let us know in in the comments below how you guys feel about this chapter. If you guys have any theories, if you guys like the theories that we came up with, we're interested. We want to hear your guys' thoughts. Helps out a lot. That's Kev. I'm Corey. Let's talk about the chapter. As always, Kev,
Yeah.
what we working with?
11:52, an awful day. And so this is a big flashback, something that we've been looking forward to for a while now, since we got to Elbaf and how rich its history is. But we're back on the cover story. Oni Child Yamato and the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage, Volume 36. Delivery complete. Kawamatsu, Daimyo of Hakumai, receives Otama's hat. So Otama made this beautiful hat. Reminds me of Ace making it for Oars Jr. And this is where he learned to make the hat. And I think he learned it from Yamato.
Yeah.
So, nice full circle for everyone.
Not bad, right? Like,
Yeah,
just and this is one of my favorite scabbards outside Kinemon. I think it's Gamatatsu. I think that's his name. He's my
sure.
favorite scabbard, and he kept on using that move over and over again. But I thought it was cool every time. It's like the blade spinning move with the curved sword or something. Either way, he's cool.
Mm,
I think he's the
yeah.
daimyo of this region, so we're meeting all the daimyos. He's saying hey to our new scabbards. I don't think we're getting any new scabbards here though.
No, this is just going back to what you said. Odin making the passages. Nothing too big. Um, who knows though? I mean, Wano is also a rich area, so be on the lookout for anything really.
Yeah,
But we're back on Elbaf, and kind of where we left off was with Scopper falling and Chopper catching him. But now, so we're getting everyone round back up. Like, hey, we got to head back up there. Elbaf's basically in danger. We got to hurry up. And that's when you see like Harden and Stanson and Goldberg rushing to leave. Scopper yells at Straw Hat like, "Hey, be careful of how you're using your Conqueror's hockey." So,
yeah.
pretty.
And one of my things that I talked to you about during our pre-discussion was I wonder how the wording on that is supposed to be
Hmm.
because I'm wondering if it's like be careful because he says be mindful. So I'm like, is he saying
Sure.
be careful or watch the way you're using it? That's not the same as saying watch out when
Hmm.
like I think saying watch how you're using it is different than watch out when you're using it. And I think he's saying watch how you use it. So he also
Fair enough.
says, hey, just so you know, there's two of y'all.
Yeah, which is we already know who the second one is, but it's also confirming that he's like, "Hey, there's only two of you."
That have Conqueror's hockey right now. Okay,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
and immediately Sanji's like, "Is it me? Like I'm almost after Jinbei and like Zoro. Like I got Conqueror's hockey right. That'll push me to number two." And it's like, okay, first of all, chill out. All right. Nobody else on the team worried about the rankings. All right, bro. I can guarantee you, Sanji, not one other individual is worried about the rankings on the team. Uh,
Nah.
but that being said, Zoro, he didn't much to like Zoro. He just doesn't know he has Conqueror's hockey, which okay, I guess, because Luffy didn't know when he first used it. He didn't know what it was till he knew what
True.
it was. But at this point, I know Zoro knows what hockey is.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that is Scopper gets pissed. It's like, okay, that is a little unforgivable, bro. You are kind of fucking dumb.
And he's also been like told about this twice. Kaido told him, King I think mentioned it. So it is a little bit interesting. It, but at the end of the day, Gabon gives him a pretty stern warning like, "Hey, you're really lacking in your ability to support a Yonko level captain. What are you doing?" Like he doesn't know this, but this is something that I'm reading a lot because this guy got defeated in like the first 30 chapters, and then promised to never let that happen again. And he's held it up, but he's not really exceeding expectations. He's like meeting expectations.
Exactly, bro. It's like you know that you're good at your job, so all you gotta
Yeah.
do is show up and like coast. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of yeah. We know the dude works out. Like some of the fights ain't the easiest, but yeah, they are kind of. If they stood face to face against the person, yeah, they'd be
Yeah.
actually easy as fuck. And so he is the one, and we talk about it a lot on this channel. He has gone through a lot of development where he is like, no, we're taking this serious. But it's like, Zoro, you're taking the situation serious. You're not taking people's powers serious. You're not analyzing how people's powers work. Why did it take us 10 minutes to figure out the Seraphim had, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is
Yep.
this taking so long? So,
That Lunarian blood.
Lunarian blood, thank you.
Yeah. It was like, wait, yeah, they were also tan and had wings and a flame. And
Oh,
it's
they
like,
have
yeah, you should have
Conqueror's
reckoned.
hockey? These are Lunarians? Like, all right, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Yeah, get it together, bro.
We don't like Zoro for his ability to think. That's for sure. But let's go ahead and nip this in the butt. Sanji is going to get Conqueror's hockey. That is something that I think we both agree on, or something equal level to. We've talked about what the hockey of love, or love hockey,
Oh,
or
yeah, we did talk about
passion hockey.
But even then,
There,
even if he doesn't have
there's
Conqueror's
still an
hockey,
option.
here's somebody, like, watch this. Marco. Like, I don't think he has Conqueror's hockey. No matter where Marco's at, I'm like, Marco did his thing. He didn't fight, but he did his thing. You know what I mean? And even when he fights, it's like he held the opposition off. But it's like, you could always be Marco. You know what I mean? That's not a bad bar of achievement, but whatever.
No, that you're consistent. I think but he wants to beat Zoro, which Zoro's, like we said, also just consistent.
Yeah.
And it's like, but
I
while
want
all
to be
this
Deku,
is
not
going on,
Ingenium.
while all this is going on, Loki and Harden are just arguing because Loki's like, "Bro, you're weaker than me. You need my help," and Harden is just like, "How can we guarantee that you're not going to just stab us in the back with the government and just escape, or help them overthrow the government, or?"
He's like,
Which is a valid question.
it is a valid question, you know what I mean? Like, you've been led astray your whole life, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, Loki right now is like, bro, but what don't I don't lie. Like, I ain't a liar.
Well,
I know, right? I'm
we
like,
don't know.
Loki, the god of lies. I was like, once I tried to say it, I was like, wait a minute. But it's like,
Yeah.
this Loki, I don't think he's
We
lying.
don't know. We don't know yet.
Yeah, that's true. I have said like some of his some of his barks while he was trying to fight people, but I think that's more like, you know, chained up dog in the corner kind of thing. But
Or warrior. Like, I felt like that was like more of a war. Like, it was like, well, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die with pride.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna die with dignity instead. Like,
I like that better.
yeah. But we know that Loki's a good guy at the end of the day, because Luffy extends an olive branch and he's like, "Hey, join my crew. You know what? We need a guy just like you. We actually need a third guy who can use Conqueror's hockey." So that Sanji guy is a great cook and all, but
They're like, how are we supposed to make enough food? That's Sanji's problem. All right, we're looking for fighters. All right, not
we got the
feeders.
chef. We got the chef. We're good. We can even get a fish man, or a fisherman. Actually, is what I meant. Like, we can get somebody who gets like just fish all day. Actually, you know what, Sanji? That's your new job, fisherman and cook. But this is a way that Luffy's like, "Hey, if you do this, then maybe you can let him go. Like, if you join my crew," which this is another Luffy moment.
Yeah. But he's also saying, like, if you join my crew, then you don't have to fight with your brother, because then, like, he can't say no because you're both under me. I can tell you what to do.
Loki gives like the typical Trafalgar Law response. "I'm not gonna be your underling, dude. Like, that's just not how he operates." So he's a captain in his own right, I guess. But
Yeah.
Luffy's not looking for underlings at all. Obviously, that's not how Luffy operates.
I wonder if that's I wonder if that's how rocks operated. I wonder if
Just
all of them were
pure
just,
respect.
yeah, I wonder if they were all just, because we always talk about like how did all these egos get along, and it's like we don't get
Yep.
along. Like just like Blackbeard, like we don't have to have the same goal. Like we don't even have to
Sure.
actually Blackbeard's thing is we don't have to get along if we all have the same goal. Luffy's thing is we don't all have to have the same goal if we get along. So it's a kind of
Yeah.
crazy dynamic they're building. But I also think Rocks may have been closer to Luffy's side.
I
Maybe.
Your question brings up like a line from Whitebeard in the flashback was, "Hey, don't go out like thinking I'm your underling." So very much like what you're saying here is, I think they just all respected the shit out of Rock, and they were willing to fight with him because just like Luffy when he fought with Kid and Law, it was, hey, this guy's, I'm not going to listen to him every time, but he's respectable and I'm cool with that. So I don't hate the idea.
Is that a pull from Marineford? Holy shit. Yeah, bro.
Well,
That is a Yonko
yeah,
themselves that it's like, no, this is just family. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And then like
yeah.
some little like, oh, could be underling. It's like, nah,
Mhm.
man, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. Like, damn, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we don't really know what happened to God Valley either. So,
I'm trying to bring up the chapter so I can like try to move on to the next parts, but it's not loading, so
oh, you're all
that's why
good.
I'm leaving it to you.
So this is when Scopper is like, "Hey, Harden, you gotta let him go. Like, you're stuck. We
Yeah,
have no other options. Luffy needs support. Zoro's not gonna cut it. Sanji's making breakfast. We gotta release this guy." And then this is kind of when we start breaking down numbers. So at the beginning, when you learn about Harold dying, it's kind of vague. He died with a legion of his army, but here we get 14 years ago. Loki murdered 113 members of the castle guard. He left Harold at the brink of death. He killed his own father, and he's the worst criminal our country's ever known. Which, yeah, I would put him above Big Mom at that point too. Then, right? Because that's, what's that called? Patricide, killing your father.
yeah, yeah. Especially when and regicide when it's the king.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, overthrowing the king is probably a lot bigger deal than accidentally killing some random, not some random elder, but some elder of the village. So,
I learned the word regicide from Superior Spider-Man when he killed the Kingpin. I was like, what does that mean? And I had to look it up.
go ahead and hit the Google on that one.
Yeah, oh, because he's a king. I get you. But yeah, man. I'm thinking Harold was probably. I want to know what changed Harold. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it something generic like kid? It can't be generic because at this point in the story, like Oda's not going to be like he had kids, and then he was like, actually, I don't want people fighting stuff like that. It does seem that Yarul is kind of more like kind of chill with that though. He's like, it's kind of nice to know that my grandkids ain't gonna have to worry about this. So
Yeah,
we're getting more perspectives on this whole aggressive, not aggressive society kind of thing, warrior, non-warrior lineage kind of thing. So that's also
sure.
interesting.
And then so this is kind of when Scopper chimes in. Like, actually, me and Shanks have been investigating this aura that's emanating from Oist Castle, I think it's called. But this comes to a shock because, I mean, Harden was unaware that this guy's investigating the castle. Like, that's kind of crazy.
He's like, wait a minute, are you? You can't be. So Scopper, he said he's been exploring. He likes exploring.
Hmm.
He's been there for a while.
Yeah,
He's been on Elbaf for a while. Like the way it's kind of presented, kind of makes you think like, oh, when he stayed here with Gerd, or not Gerd, but whatever Ripley. When he stayed
sure.
here with Ripley, he was just bored. He would go out sometimes. You know what I mean? So he was doing exploring. But it's like No, like I'm here specifically to explore the shit that goes on in this castle. Yeah, and I guess I'm staying.
And eh, and so kind of Shanks is coming up a lot in this chapter as well. Um, but the dumb Shanks thing again is kind of being brought back up because is has Zoro? I forget. Does Zoro ever meet Shanks? Has anybody met Shanks on the Straw Hats? No, I
Nobody's
don't
met
think so.
Shanks. Closest person
So
to meet
that's
Shanks is Usopp because his dad, but he hasn't met his dad.
and so Arden just cuts to the chase. All right, Loki, you got 3 minutes. Go ahead, explain your life away. What happened? I mean, if you really want to help us and you are a warrior of Elbaf, tell me what happened. Here's your chance.
He's like, all right,
But
well, it all started before me. Like, no, actually, it's sectioned off into like two flashbacks. So first, it's like, what'd you say? It was 14 years ago where
14
everybody
years ago.
died. So it's just him talking to Yarrow. That's when that discussion's coming about. And then there's a second flashback later.
Yeah, that's like 109 years ago though.
Yeah.
That's the Herald flashback.
When he was 15.
But so yeah. So we're getting the flashback. Loki and Harold seem pretty chill, but they're both like 6 times the size of every other giant there. But he has a different hammer style. I like the style. I like how they kind of filled it out with more inscriptions. Pretty cool character design. I'm not mad at it.
This is why I'm also an advocate of the Loki got Domi Reversi, because it's like they transformed the weapon too. Like, and this is a smaller weapon, and now his weapon is massive, and nobody's forging him weapons after he kills the king supposedly and tying him like he didn't. I'm wondering about the weapon too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're basically just talking about the implications of having a peaceful society and how that is against their better nature. And Loki, with his Naruto vibes, breaks into the like chamber, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm home." And his dad's getting stabbed up.
Yeah, and he's only silhouetted. So, but a lot of people have already started theorizing that this is Domi Reversi, Harold, and that maybe these guys have a valid reason for attacking. I mean, let's say timing is everything in a situation like this. We're walking in after Harold killed the first wave of warriors, and now we're catching the warriors defending themselves.
Yeah,
That could easily be it.
warriors were there when he got transformed, and it's like,
Yeah.
damn. Then he started killing like 2 or 3. They're like, okay. Then he started killing 2 or 4. It's like, okay, we can't just let him kill us, bro. Like the first 2, we gotta let him because he's the king. But once you start getting closer to 10, it's like, okay, bro, we gotta stop this guy.
Yeah, at that point you're making up excuses like, "Oh my God, somebody's controlling him! Like, somebody take him out!" It's like, no, he's just going senile.
Which is
bro.
wild, because the first person you gotta just let happen. Like, the first person dies and y'all just gotta stand there and watch. Be like, oh.
He must have done something that we're unaware of, and that's the king's business. Like,
that's the king's business. That's funny.
I'm sorry. He's killed his children because they're bastards. So let's just go ahead and let him, let it slide. Let it slide.
Oh, wait. He killed Frank. Wait.
Motherfucker, who's
wait,
Frank's
Doug. Wait.
God, not Doug.
Oh, shit, he's killing everybody. He's killing Eric. All right.
I didn't like Eric too much anyways.
Once you start getting...
Still.
See? We're at like 3 right now. We're at like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
7's hard to justify. Yeah. But that being said, the man went crazy.
And at another part of Elbaf, I think it's around the same time, right? I'm assuming so. It's a part of the same flashback. At another, in the sun realm of Elbaf, we get a fairly younger Scopper Caban, and it looks like, I don't know, Shanks looks much the same, actually. I know he still has his arm, which we'll talk about, but he looks very similar to what he does now. So it's kind of like Kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like how old was Scopper when he joined the crew? Was he also
Yeah.
around Shanks and Rayleigh's age? But also Rayleigh looks old as. Well, no, that's a different crew member.
Yeah.
Scopper looks old as fuck.
Yeah. And Scopper and Shanks have a weird conversation here. They're talking about time passing and how long has it been since the captain died? And Scopper says 3 to 4 years, but Shanks corrects him is like, no, it's actually been 10. So a lot of people have been theorizing online that Louis Arnott's message warning of not staying on Elbaf for too long is like a time dilation effect where time is passing much slower here on the island, which I don't know. Something interesting to look into.
What's more interesting is like the cause of it, because it's one thing to say it does, and like okay,
Mm-hmm.
like that's just what it is. And as One Piece fans, we'll just accept that. Like, yeah, that's just what happens on Elbaf. But if he explains why it does, that's gonna be kind of wild. Like if it
That
does
would be
have
kind of
something to
interesting.
do with like the underworld, or I don't know, that would be wild.
It would be. But he's a married man. Ripley's here. Well, I guess not married, but he's happily taken man. Ripley's here, so they're all up in the house. We see a baby Colin here. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, It's like a Luffy moment. He's trying to eat, but he's getting his face pulled. So I mean, that's a very big Luffy moment. But then we get down to brass tacks, and Scopper starts asking him like, "Hey, do you know Harold, the king of Elbaf? Shanks has met him in Marie Joie. Very interesting. So that means he's rubbing elbows with royalty in Marie Joie.
yeah. Now I wonder if this is a I want to go see what it looks like kind of thing, or if you were working. Like he could have been like a normal, like God's night, or what do they call a
Yeah,
holy night? He could have been a regular holy night, just working, and then spoke to Harold when some shit happened. Maybe somebody said some racist shit towards giants, and he's like, just said something like, "Hey man, that was fucked up." But I don't
yeah.
know. That'd be interesting because it's
Um,
like
okay.
Harold's transformation goes from this 104 years ago or whatever, 14. He's much like a crazed, like just, hey, much like how we feel like Loki is now, just like, hey, do fuck it, man, flipping people off like a Bartolomeo if he was a giant. And then
Yeah,
something changes him, and then I think something changes him back. And then when he gets Domi reversied, he it like intensifies that. But I think I don't know, these character like evolutions for Harold are it's pretty interesting.
sure. And Shanks and Scopper leave it off on a weird note because before they can meet, we see in our background for today. Oh shit, I'm lagging out. Sorry. Uh, Before they can meet again, this is what happens in our background. But he says that Harold couldn't speak freely at Marie Joie, so he wanted to speak to him again here. I wonder what they wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Um they also hmm, I wonder what this first interaction with Shanks and Loki is going to be like. Because Loki does not like Shanks. Shanks is the one that like captured him, but Shanks also was like he admired Loki's father. So I wonder
Mm,
if this is going to be a thing where Loki tries to kill him, and then Shanks protects him because he's like, no way, why would I let you do that? Why would I let you kill this guy? And then that causes like a chain of events that causes things to go worse before Loki can kill him. And then that's why it's a big spectacle and everybody then sees it and everything like that. But it's like Shanks was actually in the wrong when he protected Harold. I'm wondering if that's where we're going.
and so that we get the announcer, the narrator, the day that the massacre at the castle took place. Harold, the benevolent king, lost his life. So they're leaving, and this could be a translation thing. They're leaving it open for him to have lost his life but not dead, right? Like that's how I'm kind of reading. Like he's still out there, like ready to be used as a weapon.
Yeah. Oof.
Like he lost his life. He's never gonna be our
Harold.
king again,
Yeah.
but he's still alive out there. And then we get the elder Jarl. We get the moment that the sword goes through his head, a lock falling to the ground, which is surrounding this ancient treasure, the forbidden devil fruit passed down within Elbath. So it looks like they're just holding this devil fruit off to the side. Nobody's really using it.
I
That's how I'm. That's how I'm seeing it.
I thought that too, and then I thought, oh, or maybe they just have the same fruit locked in the chest, waiting for the person to die. And I mean, hopefully, they assume that if they're the king, they're gonna die somewhere near home. If anything, if it's not in their bed of old age, it's gonna be somewhere near home. But yeah, I think also Yarl also got reversied because he did get stabbed in the head. I think he got unreversed after he got stabbed. So it's like he healed before he got unreversed. So his body's fine, but now he can't pull the sword out because he's just a normal giant now and he'll just bleed out. Well, he won't bleed out. He'll just die. The brain will just like not handle that, I guess.
This is One Piece. We don't know.
Yeah. But I feel like in any world, whatever. He's got a sword through the brain. He's talking. Never mind. I'm trying to use logic.
I was going to say, I mean, this isn't a magic trick. I don't know what's going on. But
yeah.
I do think it's like an enchanted sword, and exactly right. It's stopping him from fully going through with it, which is fine. I don't hate it. I just hope he reveals something. Like his dying wish is to like, no, Loki's actually like the true hero of Elbath. Like
protect his daughter, like Joanna.
Yeah. hey, that's still alive. Video. I like that. But then we get the final double page spread. We get the 109 or 109 years ago. We get the prime Herald, and he's a dickhead. He's kicking his own subordinates into buildings. And he's like, oops, my foot slipped. And then he's just kicking people into just giant buildings.
And it looks like his subordinates are the size of Loki and the other giant warrior pirates. Actually, no, just like Loki. And then you have the normal giants, even smaller, like dwindled compared to that. Like, Harold is crushing giant buildings with his kicks, which is wild. It's like, okay, bro, size... like in One Piece, like he's gotta be taller than Zunisha. No, that's stupid. That's a stupid thought, but he's tall. The dude's tall.
How big are the consonant pullers? You know, like that. Like we're assuming, I think me and you both, that his lineage is the continent pullers. So it's like you have a range of height that it's like, yeah, you could be that tall.
You gotta have somebody fight San Juan Wolf. So it's like we need somebody like 25 feet tall or however tall he is.
He gives me this tattoo is giving me Ripley vibes. I don't know if I'm reading too much into this, but it seems like he has the same tattoo as
like
Ripley.
Kratos tattoos.
Yeah. No, it's a little different, but I guess they're all facial tattoos, that's why. But yeah, I mean, he's this guy's the reason that we have a fear of warriors from Elbath. In our current story, Harold doing all of this shit is why people are afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess I'm wondering if we're going to be in the flashback. Like, I think we're going to see the Harold flashback first, and then that's going to lead all the way to the day he died. I think we're going to see Harold's whole time as king right now. I'm thinking it's going to be like 8-9 chapters.
I mean, how big was Odin's flashback? You know?
That was like, that had to be like 15 to 20 chapters. Like, it was
I'll have to go back and see it. Yeah. It was, I mean, because he jumped ship. I mean, he was a kid to Shogun to or to Whitebeard, and then to Roger, and then back to, and then he
Yeah.
died. So it's like,
They were also doing that
yeah,
whole Japanese play thing, so I don't know how those plays are set up, but I think like it's
I
like
gotcha.
it was a very that was a very good arc. I like Wano. I don't care like if people say it dragged on, like whatever, man. I liked it. Um,
Um, but I'm seeing horns here in the flashback from 14 years ago.
yeah.
So we know that he's ripped him out between 14 years ago and today, or well, I guess, mate. I don't
And
know. I
that's
guess,
that's the important revelation that he ripped his horns out while Loki was grown. So
yeah,
this is another one of the things like Loki's like, dude, what are you doing? Like
yeah.
like a couple years ago, probably like 4 years ago for him. Like a couple years ago, you just ripped your horns out. You're trying to tell people like, hey, don't fight no more. Like, what's going on? I bet you Harold hasn't told him shit.
And we still see Loki having bandages over his eyes from childhood till now. I don't know what that's about, but we know it's not the devil fruit now. Like, we know it has nothing to do with his devil fruit powers. I think it could be something along the same lines that Zoro keeps his eyes shut. So maybe we're looking at that, but I don't know. I'm interested to find out more because I want to see how hard. I mean, Harden just got told all this. Let's see how he reacts. Next
Yeah.
chapter, we'll find out. No break next week, too.
Hey, I'm with it. But you guys let
Hey.
us know how you guys feel about the chapter. There's a lot of interesting points, some flashbacks, some interesting dialogue, and we are about to see some fights right after this. We might see a little bit of fight, a little bit of flashback, a little bit of fight, just like Egghead. So we'll see. What fights are you guys excited for? What part of Harold's history are you excited for? Do you think Loki's a good guy? Do you think Harden's gonna believe him? Do you think Loki's gonna be a straw hat? Is he gonna be fighting Sandwall Wolf? All these questions and more answered here at the Red Line Radio. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Peace.